All right, we are being recorded. So there's a note. Recording has started, just so everybody knows. Yeah, this meeting is being recorded. All right. Well, we've got 60 participants already, so I say we get the ball rolling on this. I'm going to spotlight myself since I'll be starting this off. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us here today for our February PortGen webinar first look. We've got two projects coming up featured for you. Yeah, and we'll dive right in. Josie, next slide, please. Um, all right, so we are going to start off with some background on diversity and contracting here at the port. And then we'll have our main course, which is our two construction projects. Heather Bornhorst, one of my colleagues here at the port from our aviation project management group, has joined us, and she'll be sharing with you all about that. And then at the end of the session, we'll wrap up with networking, where everybody on the line who wants to gets to introduce who they are, what their company is, what you do, what kind of work you're looking for, what kind of partners you're looking for. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. That's always one of my favorite parts of the program. You never know who you'll meet. You'll never know who you'll see again and be able to reconnect with. So that's always a great part of the program. Next slide. So yeah, just background on the Port of Seattle and diversity and contracting, and why we're even here. The port is dedicated to increasing the use of women and minority-owned businesses that we work with and other disadvantaged firms. We have explicit benchmarks and commitments to how many firms we work with each year and the amount of money that actually goes to those firms. So our goal each year is to work with at least 354 women and minority-owned businesses, and a goal of 15% of our spend going to those businesses. We are in the process of updating that. That was our 5-year policy benchmarks that actually concluded in 2023. And we are in the process of figuring out our goals for the next 5 years. So if anybody wants to give me your thoughts, I would love to hear that. I'll drop my email and please contact me because we're always looking for ways to better serve the community. All right, next slide. So Vendor Connect, these are just like the actionable steps that I'm hoping that y'all will bookend it, but I think it's always really important to just know kind of what it is being asked of you or what are actionable steps. If you want to be notified of our projects that are being advertised, the best way to do that is to register yourself on Vendor Connect, which is the Port of Seattle's contracting portal. That is, I call it the place to see and be seen. It's the yellow pages that port buyers, as well as some other government agencies, that's where they go to look for businesses like yours. And also, that's how you get notified of projects that have your NAICS code that have your scope of work. The other way to be notified of project advertisements is to sign on to our diversity and contracting mailing list. That's where you can make sure you get all the latest news on the events that we are hosting, get a digest of all of the big projects that have been advertised in the previous week, and receive the Diversity in Contracting's quarterly newsletter. If there's a specific project, such as like the ones that Heather is going to be talking about, um, keep an eye out for that advertisement date. That's really important because once the project is advertised, um, that's how like you get to continue pursuing this project that you're interested in. We're bringing it to you for your consideration to see if this even is up your alley, if you this is something you have capacity and interest for. But if from the end of the session you decide that, yeah, like this seems like something I want to be on, these bullet points are what you need to do, which is um, get on the project plan holders list on Vendor Connect, become a plan holder. You can also go see who the primes are by clicking on the tab that says project plan holders for that specific project. And then oftentimes there's an event, which is attend the informational or pre-bid meeting. And that is how you continue to get to network and see who else is interested in the project, who else you might work with. And so, with that said, the next slide, Josie, if you would may, shows the Vendor Connect portal. That blue button, register login, is how you register. Current and past solicitations is where you can see all of the advertisements for these big projects that are out and advertised right there. Search publicly viewable vendors. That's that yellow pages or the directory part that I'm talking about earlier. And then view event calendar shows at a glance like all of the informational and pre-bid meetings that are coming up as well as any other events. Next slide, please. Um, Back one, please. And so this is what that vendor index looks like if you click on that tab for search publicly viewable vendors. This is a plug for me to say, please make sure that those highlighted parts, work types, business certifications, NAICS codes, when you're registering, please fill that out. When you don't fill it out, it's like being listed in the yellow pages for Emily Ho and nothing else. You have no idea what I do. You have no idea how to contact me. So it's really important that all of the fields in Vendor Connect that you fill out thoroughly, and especially that business certification piece, because the port has a commitment. It is to women and minority and disadvantaged businesses. It is to your advantage that people see that you have those certifications, and the port accepts self-certifications. So even if you do not have an OMWBE certification, the port does accept self-identified certifications. Next slide, please. And here is some of our upcoming trainings and events. I think I'm going to plop into the chat some more recent updates. On March 4th, as you see here, we have a PortGen Connections event, which is in person um, at the SeaTac Airport. Folks from Hoffman Construction, one of the port's primes, is going to be there presenting on their work at the Post International Arrivals Facility Realignment Project, a really big project. They're bringing in their subs. So you get to meet not only Hoffman, but some of their subcontractors who are looking for partners like you there. So I highly encourage you to go to that. That's on Monday at 3 p.m. And I'll put the more information in the chat, but that's a great way to be able to connect with one of our prime contractors and try to partner with them and work on a port project that way. Not listed on here is if you happen to be, this is a construction project webinar, but if you happen to be in dining and retail, I do want to throw out there that our colleagues in the dining and retail area of the port are hosting a RFP training course specifically for dining and retail vendors. That's March 6th through 16th. Multiple training opportunities that are in person there. Also not listed on here is March 12th, we have an event with Jacobs, another one of the port's prime contractors, where you can learn about their projects at the port and how you can be partners with them on that. March 14th on there is Alliance Northwest. We're really excited to be tabling there. Lisa's excited because Apex, I think, and Thurston County are hosting that. And that's a great way to meet not only the port, but a lot of different agencies, a lot of different primes. That's kind of like one of the biggest events for vendors in the year. So please don't miss out on that. And then we've got also not listed on here. I'm going to have to really plug all these in the chat. In April, we have another event with Turner Construction. We've had two in the past before, and this is the last one in that series. They're looking for partners for their C Concourse expansion project. Still, there are opportunities. So that's coming up in mid-April. I'm working with them to narrow down a date. It'll be in person at also the SeaTech SEA Airport Conference Center. So there's a lot of opportunities coming up for you all to check out the projects that we have at the port, the projects that we have prime contractors lined up for, and who are eager to meet businesses like yours and to hopefully be able to partner with businesses like yours because they have goals to meet. Um, all right. And also because they hopefully are also very much interested and invested in the equitable distribution of resources and work and opportunity. All right. With that said, I will be handing over the baton to Heather. I'm going to spotlight Heather. Um, and Heather, if you could please introduce yourself before diving into your two projects, that would be great. Thank you so much
Sure.
for joining us today.
No problem, Emily. Thank you. My name is Heather Bornhorst. I am the capital program leader for one of the 11 programs that we have in aviation project management, the Landsign team, which means I'm responsible for managing the project managers who oversee the work outside the terminal. So we have the roadway system, the garage, the rental car facility, our ground transportation facilities, and outside the airfield. So we get a wide range of stuff. So that is my team and my group. Me personally, I've been employed for the Port of Seattle now for 26 years. I started off in the aviation planning department for a couple of years, worked in airport operations, supporting our capital program for several years. And then I transitioned over to project management to be a project manager, deliver the rental car program. That was kind of the big thing that I did several years ago. And now I'm managing the overall landside program. So been here for a long time. So I'm going to start off talking about the third floor ground transportation booth enhancements. So if you can go to the next slide, please. And on the theme of been here a long time, I was actually designing this with chalk on the ground when we were building this facility. We first implemented this back in 2000. So funny story there that I'll get into when I show you the photos. So this project, we're actually going to be demolishing that existing facility that we built. So there's a customer service window, some operator counters, and some restrooms. And we're going to be building a new facility. So it's about 1,800 square feet. It's rather sizable. It's going to include a new customer service window, workspace, break room, mudroom, and other support functions, based upon a work function that you would expect to see. All the furniture and equipment that's going to be outfitted inside this new space is going to be purchased by a separate contract via the port. Many of those are existing contracts, so there's not a lot of opportunities there for new entrants, but I did want to flag that the furniture and equipment would be purchased separately. Next slide, please. So the purpose of this project is to expand and renovate that existing facility, expand to meet our growing needs, and renovate because it's been there for a little over 20 years now. It is located on the third floor of the main garage. So back in 2000, when we were undertaking the Concourse A renovation project, so that's what built the Gina Marie Arrivals Hall. We demoed and rebuilt Concourse A and the office building. When that happened, that displaced a number of our ground transportation services, and we had a very short window of time to find a new home for them, as well as provide facilities for the supporting staff. And that's what I meant by drawing out in chalk on the ground where we were going to be installing walls to support this new facility. So it was a very truncated and short design process, but we got it done. So those facilities were originally constructed in 2001, and our GT services that are located over on the third floor of the garage include courtesy vehicles, taxis, our transportation network companies, limousine services, and shared ride vans. So the estimated cost range for this construction project is in the 800,000 to 1.6 million range. We have not confirmed what our overall WIMBY participation goal is yet on this project. The project manager for this is currently working with diversity and contracting on that, but I suspect it's going to be in that 10 to 20% range, which is what we typically see for projects like this. Next slide, please. These are some photos of the existing facility. So you can see the customer service window here, which is on the east end of the building, the restrooms, which are on the backside or west end of the building, and then the operator counters that are currently closed at the north end of the building. So those are the facilities that we're going to be removing. Next slide, please. This shows a plan view of what we're going to be building. The blue outline is where the limits are for the existing building. So you can see it's quite a bit bigger. We built the original facility around some an existing ventilation shaft and electrical room that were there. And so those will remain when we do the demolition, and then we'll build the new facility in phases so that we can maintain operations while we're building this. So you can see it's quite a bit more space with the various functional areas that we're adding. Next slide, please. These are some renderings that we generated earlier on in the design process. So it gives you a feel for what we're going to be building, with the customer service window shown in the upper left-hand corner there. And then you can see the backside of the facility below it, and then the other views around the building that we're going to be building. Next slide, please. So the primary components or areas of interest within this project, we're going to have quite a bit of carpentry and casework, tile and flooring, drywall, painters, plumbing, heating and ventilation. It is going to be a hydronic system. For those of you who haven't done work in the main garage before, the central mechanical plant is right below us. So we're going to be connecting into the boiler system that's currently down there in our central mechanical plant. And then electrical and communications as well. Next slide, please. Right now, we're on track to advertise this June. We're wrapping up 90% design right now. We anticipate issuing notice to proceed probably in September, with substantial completion anticipated in May. And then physical completion, which is completion of the punch list, et cetera, following on in July. So before I move on to the next project, is there any questions on that one before I move on to widen arrivals? Not seeing any hands, but if you do have questions, feel free to shoot me an email and we can hopefully get you an answer. Oop, I see a hand.
Yeah, I heard you mention earlier on that I missed the full comment, but you noted that some people were already under contract for that. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I was referring to the furniture and equipment contracts that we have. So think cubicles and office space equipment, break room tables, things like that. Those contracts are, we tend to do larger procurement efforts for that, and then we utilize them for projects like this. So I was just clarifying that the owner furnished equipment and furnishings, those contracts are already procured, so there really isn't an opportunity there.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so with that, I'll move on to widen arrivals, the bus canopy project. Next slide, please. So this particular project is going to relocate our north rental car transit curb further north. It's currently located on the arrivals curb side. We have a rental car transit curb at the north end and the south end, and the one at the north end will get moved further north. The overall widen arrivals program, so this is one of many projects within that program, is reconstructing the entrance to arrivals to provide additional lane capacity for ground transportation and parking. So when you come into the airport today and you pass the cell phone lot, There's 4 travel lanes that right now that'll take you to departures, arrivals in the main garage. Those 4 lanes are going to get widened to 6 lanes. And so that roadway construction project is going to be underway. It's already under contract and will be in construction through June of 2026. So this is another contract that's going to occur within that time period as part of the overall program. So I just wanted to kind of explain that a bit. I have another slide that gets into that a little bit more. The estimated cost range for just the transit curb improvements is 1.6 million to 3.2 million. You notice that I have listed a DBE requirement of 9%. Right now, this project is slated to receive federal funding, but I'm doing my best to make it not. So we have about 17 million in federal funding for the entire program, and I'm trying to utilize it on the main roadway construction contract. And if we're successful doing that, we'll convert this to a WIMBY requirement, which is less onerous and probably more supported by our diversity and contracting goals. So right now it's listed as DBE, but maybe that can change. Next slide, please. So the Widen Arrivals program has multiple contracts, as I mentioned. The bridge demolition contract was already completed. We used to have a bridge that connected the departures drive to the 4th floor of the garage, and last winter we demolished that, and so that work is complete. The roadways construction contract is currently under construction. Scarcella Brothers is the prime contractor for that, and that's what's reconstructing the terminal roadway systems, including some retaining wall work, which is getting the area ready for the transit curb improvements to come. So they need to get that retaining wall work done. So then this contract, the bus canopy contract, can come in and then complete the work in that area. And so that's what I'm talking about today is the bus canopy contract, which is relocating that transit curb. We do have elements of the ART program involved with this project. The bus canopy project itself is providing an overhead canopy, and the ART program is providing the glass that's going to be the roofing material for that. So it's kind of exciting because we have an internationally renowned glass artist who's doing that. Unfortunately, it's coming from Sweden, so it's taken a lot of coordination. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be great when we're done. It's just a little painful right now to get through the process. And we're also going to have some seating that's provided in the transit stop area that's also going to be provided via the ART program. We also have some other, again, limited owner furnished items like trash cans and things like that, again, coming from contracts that are already let. So I'm just calling attention to that. Next slide, please. So the canopy project will demolish the existing curbside. It'll reconstruct the sidewalk, install a canopy. We'll have lighting systems. We'll have some hose bibs for maintenance purposes, some signage improvements that'll be done in that area. We're going to relocate and expand the public address and our next bus systems. And so those are some technology systems that we have out there today. We will be installing CCTV as well as additional communication infrastructure to support all this. So Widen Arrivals, the overall program, is going to demolish the ramps and construct the new retaining wall that I mentioned. And they're going to reconstruct the arrivals approach because the roadway alignment is changing. We're actually raising it about 8 feet in some locations. And they'll be installing some security bollards near the terminal building. So that's work that contract is doing versus the transit canopy, which is really focusing on the sidewalk area, the bus loading areas, and the overhead canopy and supporting infrastructure for that. And I have some renderings coming up on this. Next slide, please. So this is a picture of the existing area today. So you can see the end of the rental car shuttle there in the photo on the left, and there are 4 bus stalls actually shown in this photo. Those 4 bus stalls are going to move further north. You can see the existing bridge on the far right of the photo that has now since been demolished. And so up in that area where the ramp kind of goes up and ends, that's the area that's going to be removed and brought down to grade. We're going to modify the retaining wall in that area, and the transit curb is going to get moved that far north. So kind of beyond where the vehicle is in the photo. Next slide, please. This is a plan view showing the extents of the transit canopy. So there's a narrower section that's going to be running adjacent to the overhead departure structure to provide some rain protection. And then it's going to widen out over the actual bus stop area so that there's protection over the buses. So when people are getting on and off the buses, they have that rain protection. So that gives you an idea of the limits that we're looking at. Next slide, please. And this is one of the artist renderings showing the seating as well as the glass canopy in that widened section. So it gives you an idea of what we're trying to achieve. So in terms of components or trades of interest, we're going to have quite a bit of concrete work with the sidewalk, structural steel, obviously, with canopy, electrical, because we're doing lighting, communications and special systems, painting, as well as plumbing, given the hose bibs. So right now, our schedule shows us advertising in September. That may get delayed a little bit. We're currently coordinating with the artist to confirm the structural requirements for that canopy. And it's taking a little bit longer, so September might become October. But the rest of the schedule should generally be in alignment with that, where we're anticipating construction really to occur in 2025 and really more towards the latter part of 25, because there's going to be a bit of pre-work to get that canopy and that structural steel fabricated before we bring it on site. So, any questions on that one? Great. If you get something later, please feel free to reach out either through Emily or shoot me an email directly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heather. And this is just a comment of like, I work here and I love having these PortGen webinars just because like I see things on the slide, but like having project managers like Heather like talk about the project and like the context and like kind of the inside scoop. Like that slide says like September 2024, but it's like, oh, it'll likely be October, or like this is a DBE, it has a DBE goal right now of 9%, but Heather is trying to get it so that the other other projects are federally funded, and it might end up that this has a women and minority a WIMBY goal instead of a DBE goal. And so I just want to. It's weird that I'm like, oh, I love this thing that I'm doing, but I think it's like really incredible information to be getting that is hard to get really otherwise when you don't have the project manager telling you kind of um, here's like the larger wide and arrivals projects, here's where this falls, here are these like relevant details. So just wanted to express my excitement and also my gratitude for you, Heather, for preparing your slides and presenting. And so I really would encourage you all on the line, if you do have any questions, please do put them in the chat or raise your hand. And if you don't feel comfortable with that, Heather's email was listed on the slides, which will be sent out for you to reach out in that way as well. Um, all right. With that said, I think this is a good segue into the networking portion of the program. Also, a really valuable resource, I think, in terms of understanding who else is interested in these projects, being able to introduce yourself to not only Heather, but me and everybody else. So really encourage you all to participate in this. And so I just ask for you to please raise your hand. There is a raise, like a hand button at the very top of that should be at the very top of your screen. And I'd love to call on folks as they come up in the order that they raise their hand, to talk about your name, your business, what it is that you do, certifications that you have, and if you prime or sub. If you could also plug that into the chat, that's also a great way for folks to be actually have your information tangibly, especially that email address part. So yeah, at this point, I'm would like to see some hands raised for whoever would like to take advantage of this great opportunity. Edward, thank you. Great to see you, Edward, one of our previous accelerator participants.
This is true.
Um,
This is true.
yeah, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Edward Byers. The business name is On It Management Consulting. As was stated, I am a graduate of the PortGen's Business Accelerator program. We are management consultants with our areas of practice being organizational change management, business process optimization, instructional design, communications, and of course, tried and true project management. We are DB certified in addition to being an MBE, and we would welcome an opportunity to be a prime to the port. Currently, we are, in fact, a sub to a larger global consulting firm that's doing work at the port, and I'm glad to have the opportunity. My email address is Edward, EDWARD, BYERS at onitmc.com. And I'll put that in the chat as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Edward. All right, Josie, if you could please stop sharing screen. I've just plugged in all the information that I'm asking folks to share. So thank you so much for going first, Edward. All right, up next we've got who's the second hand? Um, let's see, Dan Fitzgibbons. Dan, would you mind speaking
Yeah,
up?
sure. Thank you. Yeah, my name is Dan Fitzgibbons. I work for a company called Apex Companies LLC. Doesn't get much more generic than that, so my apologies there. But I've been in the industry, environmental consulting, for 24 years, working for different firms. And while Apex is not necessarily, well, we are not. We don't satisfy MWBD various functions. We can do prime or sub work, but we do a lot of environmental consulting for so many different projects, whether it's municipal, private, or public. And I have a lot of familiarity with the airport, with past doing asbestos related survey work, monitoring, industrial hygiene exposure work during construction, whether it's silica or other contaminants. But we also do subsurface evaluations if you're digging into the ground. So if you need support, with large or small, we're happy to help. And we can also sub, because we do a lot of that as well. Yeah, that I don't want to take up too much time, but would love an opportunity. So I'll drop my information in here and let you get back on course. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Dan. Up next, we've got Christine. Hello, Christine.
Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Geronimo. I own Midnight Supply Company in South Park of Seattle. We are a print shop, so we offer screen printing, embroidery, and sewing in-house. I just think oftentimes like our industry gets forgotten in these types of conversations. And even if we are not physically at job sites, HVAC, electric, plumbing, like we are still very much present in the form of team t-shirts or embroidered jackets, printed safety vests, or branded hard hats and lanyards. And so, we are women minority certified, and we are open to the opportunities. So this isn't something that we've done before, but I think it's definitely something that we're getting interested in doing, and that's why I'm here today. I'll drop my information in the chat, and thank you guys for hosting this today.
Great. Thanks so much, Christine. Great to meet you. Yeah, and awesome that you're taking advantage of this awesome free airspace for advertising. Great. And moving on, Sharon, great to see you on here, another accelerator graduate.
Yes, thank you so much, Emily, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sharon Maxwell. I'm the CEO of Bratton Construction. We are a small general contractor and a sub. We do new construction, tenant improvement, renovation, Our self-performing is Carpentry Division 6, Division 9 Painting, as well as Division 10. And we're always looking to collaborate and partner for larger projects. And these projects look like the type of projects we would bid on as a general. And so I'm looking forward to waiting to when they come out and hopefully connecting with some of you. I am copying your email, your information from the chat. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Up next, we've got Emily Fisher.
Yep. Hello. I am with Reyes Engineering. We are an electrical engineer firm. We've been open since 1999. We are DBE, MBE, and SES certified. We provide electrical systems, architectural lighting and daylighting, fire safety, telecommunications, and audiovisual, renewable energy systems, EV charging systems, security and video surveillance systems, anything with a wire, basically, we cover. We've worked with the Port of Portland quite a bit with security, so we have some port experience, but we've never worked with the Port of Seattle. And yeah, we're just looking to branch more north. We have an office in Seattle, and we've done a lot of transportation work, but not as much with the port. So we're really looking to get into that area, and hopefully we'll be able to team with someone here.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Emily.
Thank you.
Oh, and then we have another Emily that is not me, Emily Brandeski. If you would please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Emily. And the Emily that preceded me, I always love seeing how many of us get in on these calls. I'm with Wistani Elsner's Seattle branch office. I'm the senior admin here, but I help with business and business development and marketing outreach. We are a firm that I like to say that serves as doctors for buildings and structures. We primarily do repair and rehabilitation work, but we also have a lot of experience in new construction with peer review. We are always looking for certified firm partners to get to know you better, to partner with you on existing proposals. The more we learn about you and partner with you, the more we're happy to introduce you to existing partners that we have. We're very committed to helping promote the DBE mindset and spread the wealth, so to speak. So I invite anyone who's interested to please reach out to me. My information's in the chat, and I would love to meet with you and get to know you and your firm better.
Thank you so much, Emily. Third but not least. All right, and we've got Teresa Reyna.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having this networking portion. My name is Teresa Reyna. I am the owner of Interpret This Inc. We've worked with the port since 2017 on small projects. And when we ran into this opportunity of kind of going back and seeing what's available out there with us, that's why I kind of hopped onto the call. But mainly most of the project we've done is document translation with the port. You guys reached out for on-site interpreting, and I believe there's multiple different vendors out there. So we wanted to kind of go, okay, well, how can we get in front, and what we can do to kind of support the service. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thanks for introducing yourself, Teresa. Great to meet you.
Thanks.
Carrie?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, good. Hi, I'm Carrie Klingfuss. I'm from Darklight Design. We're an architectural lighting firm based in Seattle. And on the call today just to learn more about the offerings that or projects coming up for the port. We are DBE and WBE certified in the state of Washington, as well as a women-owned small business by the Small Business the Small Business Administration and WBENC. We've been fortunate enough to be involved in a couple of projects involving the port, one being the Concourse expansion. So that's been exciting. So we're more on the design end and looking at any upcoming projects that we might partner with primes on, as we always serve as a sub on different teams. So we're always excited to meet other partners looking, maybe to support or advance women-owned or disadvantaged businesses. So
Love it. Thanks so much, Carrie.
yeah, thank you.
Up next, we've got Winston.
Hello, good afternoon. And Winston from Lumac Inc. We are a general contractor. We're so excited to work with the Port of Seattle. We just get awarded for one small work project for the general contractor. The only thing is, our project manager is so good, and James Andgor is helping a lot. We got some issues with the liability insurance because the port is a different animal. So we got liability before, but this time they require very high. We got a small project, but the total is almost $20,000 for the 1 year liability. It's too high compared to the small work. So do you have any kind of the suggestions or connections can introduce us to build?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, Winston, I'm gonna put my email in the chat. If you could please reach out to me and
I have your email.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I sent the email before, but not for this one. You helped me
Okay.
for another issue. Yeah, the risk management, there are different departments require 5 million
Yep.
umbrellas, and it's very unique. So all the other regular agency we used before, they got scared away. They said, no, it's not something we can do.
Yeah, no, I'd love to connect you to the right folks. I know that this is something that's not uh, necessarily like unique, unfortunately. So I'd love to continue this conversation and connect you with the right folks and get this, help you address this to the
Oh,
best that we can.
that's
Yeah,
real help.
yeah,
Definitely. Thank you so much.
yeah. Thanks, Winston. Shannon Self.
Hi, let's pull myself back up here. Hi, so I'm Shannon Self. I am with Project Core. So we are a certified small business enterprise and a women-owned enterprise headquartered in Seattle. Been around since the early 2000s. We are not part of the construction side. We are definitely business, technology, consulting, and professional services organization. So we have a wide range of services such as governance, change management, program and project management, business analysis, organizational effectiveness, and technology evaluation, and so on. I'm on the call because I'm really curious to know what projects are coming up at the port. And I know that this was much more of a construction side, which, personally for me, it's kind of interesting because I use the port a lot. So it's nice to know what's coming up. And what to expect, and to see kind of where we might be able to fit in. So I know, and I'm happy to see that there were other non-construction companies on the call. So awesome. And yeah, so we're here just to see what's going on. I will put all my information in the chat. And yeah, please feel free to reach out if you've got any questions.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Shannon. Yeah, I know that a good number of folks might be construction, but there's also a fair number who aren't. And you never know who you might end up partnering with, or somebody might connect you to somebody else. So I always appreciate when folks take advantage of all of these opportunities. All right. Lance Olson, if you would please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Lance Olson, and I'm the Vice President for business development for digital building services. We are located in Miami, Florida, just a little ways from you guys, I guess. But what we do is we provide support services for architects, engineers, and contractors through the use of laser scanning and BIM modeling existing conditions of airports. And we only focus on airports. We've worked in 60 airports across the United States, Canada, and of course the Caribbean because it's close to us. And I came just to see what projects you guys were up to. And we are DBE certified with the state of Washington as well as an MBE owned business. And it's great, I think, that you guys are doing this because not all, we do a lot of work in airports and not all the authorities, of course, that was going to happen. Not all the authorities do things like this and municipalities. So I think it's a good thing that you guys are doing this. And I will also leave our information in the chat as well if anybody'd like to get hold of us. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Lance, for joining us all the way from Florida. Wow. Okay, up next, Zachary.
Right. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. There we go.
No.
Hi, Zachary Wolfa, project manager with Dean Allen Architect, Seattle office. We are a WBE, SBE, DBE, women-owned architecture practice. While we love design and collaborating on design projects, we're also keen on teaming with contractors, general contractors, and I feel like some of the valuable services that we offer are from construction document management, document translation, as well as record or project closeout documentation, so record drawings. And we're pretty well versed in Port of Seattle CAD standards. So would love to collaborate with any GCs that would be interested, and our info is in the chat here. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Zachary. Stephanie, if you would please introduce yourself.
Okay, let's see if my camera works. Hi, I'm Stephanie Hahn Wagner. I'm a senior associate at Tiscarino. I'm here with my companion, Vince Haas. We are an architecture firm in Seattle. We've done one project right now at the airport, and we're interested in doing more in support of a prime or as a design lead. So I'm very happy to be here. Oh yeah, we're MBE and DBE certified.
Awesome. Love those certifications. Also, so trippy to see your colleague's screen and must be even trippier for you. Awesome.
Yeah, that's why I don't have my camera on.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Kennedy Gilbert, if you would please introduce yourself.
Yeah, how's it going? My name's Kennedy Gilbert. I work with JTM Construction. We are a mid to large size general contractor based out of the Seattle area. Our main office is actually in Georgetown. We do everything from small tenant improvements that are sub $1 million up to ground up mixed use office buildings in downtown Seattle and Bellevue up to, or our largest project right now that I'm actually on is 400 plus million. We're looking to kind of broaden our horizons as far as the public work sector goes related to TI stuff. So it's very interesting to see kind of some of the stuff you guys are working on and upcoming work that you have. So definitely want to get on that list that you mentioned. I believe it was Vendor Connect. So just want to put a face to the name and hopefully we'll be talking to you guys again soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Kennedy. Yeah, and that's a great point. I feel like even if these are projects that you don't end up chasing yourself, it is a really great way just to get an idea of the type of projects that we have here. Yeah, and to have faces attached to names, both yourselves and folks at the port. With that said, Aaron.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Hey, everybody. My name is Aaron Weaver. I'm the general manager at Multi Vista Seattle. We're a franchise-based company, but essentially we do photo documentation and reality capture of construction projects, everything from 2D documentation, 360 imagery, laser scanning for as-built, base BIM models, webcams and drones. We do it all. And then we overlay all the data to a cloud-based platform. But anyway, I just want to introduce myself. If anybody's interested in working with us, we actually work directly with the port on a couple projects, not at the airport, but more on the maritime side. But would love to get involved at the airport as we work on airports all across the country, San Diego or PDX, LAX, JFW, a few others. So anyway, just want to introduce myself. Here in Washington, we are SBE, DBE as well.
Great. Thank you so much, Aaron. I think up next we have Mauricio.
Hi, Mauricio Bendanya. I'm with Access Collective Northwest. I'm the project executive and founder. Been servicing the region for a little bit over 25 years and primarily in advisory services, traditional project program, and construction management. Everything from small TIs to large ground ups to headquarters and global sites. Just wanted to put a face to the name and learn a little bit more about opportunities at the port. Minority owned, minority operated. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Maurice. And while I do a last call for anybody else who wants to introduce themselves, I want to, Lisa, you're already on video. I'd love to introduce you to make sure everybody knows what an awesome resource you and Apex are. So any last folks who want to introduce yourselves, please raise your hand. In the meanwhile, I'm going to ask Lisa to speak for a little bit.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. This is great turnout. I love these. I learned so much about the port, and what Apex Accelerators does is we support contractors in government contracting. May that be your local government, your state government, or federal. And we are statewide, we are nationwide, but we have 17 counselors here to advise. And I love the variety of folks I see too. Like Christine, I used to work in a print shop, and I thought, I've helped people with print shop jobs. And also, the consultants here, the construction, our organization can take you from who's buying what you're selling, who is it, and create a target and get market research and feel very confident of where you're going. So target marketing in a good way. And we do many different workshops at federal level if you're interested in how to do work with federal and state as well as local. So I wanted you all to know, I did put it in chat. We're Apex Accelerators, formerly PTAC, and we are having the biggest government contracting show March 14th in Tacoma, the Greater Tacoma Convention Center. So we invite you to that. If you're a friend of a PTAC or friend of an Apex, you have a $20 off. If you are a certified OMWBE, you get 50% off. If you're a veteran, you get 50% off. So if any of you are interested in attending, please give us a shout out. And I will put my email in there again. You can actually call me. So we help with government contracting, no cost to you. I want you to know that we're here for you.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you,
Lisa.
Emily.
Yeah. And yeah, one other plug for Apex is that Lisa and Apex have partnered with the port in the past to put on our advanced PortGen training events that happen in the fall. Yeah, we've got these trainings that we work on together. So please also be on the lookout for those opportunities. Since I don't see any additional hands, I do want to point out that I put in the chat a link to our Vendor Connect. So please sign up if you haven't already, as well as the events that are coming up that I mentioned that are happening. And again, the best way is to get on our mailing list to make sure that you're notified of these events and that you can RSVP. Yeah, and then lastly, I think Josie, if you could come come on camera real quick. I want to make sure that everybody gets to see who you
Can you
are.
hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi, everyone. Love that you joined today. I have known Christine for many years now and so happy to see you on here. I'm just going to shout it out just because I have to. And she does amazing work. So check out her stuff too. And
Yeah.
Lisa, always good to see you. And Heather, thank you so much for taking the time today with the project. If you didn't notice in the chat, I will be sending all of you tomorrow morning the presentation, the recording, as well as the full RSVP list, which will have everyone's information, including their certifications. So you will receive that tomorrow morning, and then it'll be on our external website as well. But you can always, I put my email in the chat. You can let me know if there's anything question-wise for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josie. Yeah, Josie is who makes sure that these events run as smoothly as they do, that you get the links the day of. And yeah, so really appreciate your support, Josie. And again, Heather, for being a part of this. Without further ado, thank you all for signing on today, joining us on this rainy Wednesday. We'll be back again next time for a PortGen. If we don't see you in person at one of those in-person networking events before then. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. And if you need to get a hold of me for anything, I also plugged in my email in the chat. So please don't be a stranger. And we'll hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Great job.